Hey gang, here I am. I'm back. Did you miss me? You gotta speak louder. Hey, this is Bob. Welcome back to Party Shop Shenanigans. I've been working on my son's 87 G20 van, turning it into his mobile adventure machine, shall we say. Got a whole series of videos on this work we've done up to this point. If you haven't seen any of them, subscribe, scroll back, take a look. We'd love to get your feedback. We're in kind of a funny position. We were supposed to be done a week ago. My son's moving to Moab, and this will be his living quarters this summer while he adventures. Different scheduling issues didn't happen, so he's coming back tonight, and we've got 2 nights to get everything buttoned up. It's going to be a push. Let's do a quick walk around. So this is Ray the Adventure Mobile. In the last, oh gosh, I don't know, 4 nights I've gone through, we've done a full service on the engine, changed oil, filters, great compression, good strong runner, built a battery box. The one that was in it had rotted out, rusted out, built a new battery box, serviced the transmission, have the doghouse all put back together, glued in the carpet that was having some challenges, got everything cleaned up a bit. Started to look like a nice little machine. Door panels are shot, but Logan did find a set that are the same color. We'll put those door cards on sometime between now and when he leaves, as well as some armrests that this one never had. We blacked this window out. I'll show you what that means after a bit. Of course, you can tell by seeing through this one, it's not blacked out. Logan's added some climbing holds on the exterior, well, because that's how he rolls. We've built this, we've built the platform for a 6-foot by 10-foot deck. Not sure if we're gonna get to actually put that on before he leaves, but it'll be ready for him to assemble a little later. Up above, you'll see there's a hole cut in the roof for an exhaust fan. We'll be putting that in the next couple of evenings. And then in here, you can see we've done a whole bunch of work. We have, we've got the ceiling in. This is 5-inch tongue and groove fir. We've got most of this wall up. We've got new floor in. Part of this wall started. Got to work out details on our power center and how this is all going to wire up in here still. This tongue and groove will actually extend across those doors. We've got pieces all cut out ready for that. We're actually going to have the tongue and groove go over these back doors so that when they're closed, that'll look nice. Let's see if I can show you from a different angle what that will be like, if I can remember how to close the doors. Kind of odd when you're your cameraman and, you know, talking from behind the camera, I'm sure is, I've always been told I had a face for radio. We're going to continue this line right across the back of these doors up to this point. Eventually, Logan will be building his bed across the back with storage. This will be a shelf unit, probably a table with some storage. That's still to develop. We've got a fun idea planned for some storage. It's going to go around here. We'll talk about a little later, because if it does not materialize, I'd hate to build up false promise. But anyway, Ray's coming together. The good news is I do know now and feel comfortable that this old girl is ready for the road trip mechanically. We're in good shape. We've just got lots of interior work to do. Wiring up our lights on the interior. Wired it up here for exterior lights so we can have a exterior light as well as one for rope lighting, LED rope lighting around his deck later. Hopefully I'll get to see that. He'll be in Moab when he finishes it, so I'm hoping that we can get you some updates as we go. So tonight, we're gonna get after working on some walls. So tonight what I'm gonna work on is, trying not to drop everything, is getting this corner covered up. I'll get some insulation put in here, some insulation across the back, up in here and all the way. And then we built this so that it would tuck up against here tight, cover this up, and just like I did with the windowsills and cutting a dado for this tongue and groove to fit up into. Do the same thing here. This will create a bit of a shelf. We've got to cover up this fueling tunnel here. This is where the fuel door is on the other side to fill the fuel tank. So I have to cover that up some way. So cut a dado in here. It happens to fit right over the tongue for this tongue and groove material. Goes like such. And then I've got to figure out, there's nowhere to attach this. So I think what I'm going to do is attach this directly to this shelf. Got some geometry and some figuring to do. And then we can start putting pieces up and their insulation. So wish me luck. It might be a challenge. Okay, so here's what I came up with is use my air nailer since I have it. Could have done it, could have drilled and put some screws in, but what I chose to do is attach this piece to my shelf unit. I just stapled that together. This is going to fit on here. I had to make myself a little spacer because my mathing didn't work out like I wanted it to on something, so I want to cover this up real good. When we're all done, Logan will put a final coat of stain on here and dress it up. But here's how this will work now. Now this will go back here. And then, see, it's interesting because you got to build this in sequence. Everything doesn't quite fit the way you want. That's why you got to think things through a little bit. Kind of visualize what you're doing, what you want to look like when you're done. Want to have a nice seam, nothing too crazy here. And we kind of cut this all out and pre-fit everything a while back. Then took it out and gave it a quick sand and some Minwax sealer, just a clear finish, just to seal it up, make it look nice. But now what I'll do is I'll be able to attach this straight down. I'll put a couple staples in it. I'll put our screws in here to this rib that runs along here for support. Once I've got this whole wall in, then I'm going to come in with the air nailer and put a couple staples this way so that these have some support. But I don't know, I think that's going to look pretty good. So now that I've done that little test fit again, I'll pull it all out. I'm going to put insulation in the back, put it all back together again. Trial and error, that's what it takes. If you get in a big hurry, it's going to be a mess. Sometimes when you take your time, it's going to be a mess. But if you're having fun, who cares? Okay, let's see if we can make this bad mamma jamma go together now. I'm hopeful. This is wool insulation, 15-inch wide. It's R13 value, so it's not like, crazy awesome, but it's going to help with sound, and it's going to help a whole lot with heat transfer. This is a dark colored van, and so sun hitting it, it won't transfer quite as much heat in. And in the winter or cold weather, out camping, it'll help also. Windows are going to move heat no matter what, but this ought to help. So I just cut in strips and fit things where I could here. I'll fill this corner when I put in these short pieces. And I didn't want to fill this too tight because I've got my tail lights and whatnot here. I don't want to put those under any undue pressure. Plus, if I have to replace a bulb or anything later, we'll be pulling it from the outside, and I don't want a bunch of insulation falling out. So let's see if we can get this rascal together. So the insulation's wanting to push back, which is good. Plus this is curving, so it wants to come out. So we might need to stick a screw in here real quick like. I've been cheating. I'm trying to eyeball some marks to center here. Because, you know, sometimes when you get older, your eyes just aren't what they used to be. But I'm sure none of you know anything about that. Okay. Remember, we're using these self-tapping screws. It's like a little drill bit on the end. So it'll go into the sheet metal, and then it's a fine thread, so it'll thread itself in. You do a real nice job in this kind of an application. There we go. We're not perfect, but you know what? None of us are. That's a funny one there. I don't know. What do you think? I think it's going to look pretty good, actually. I'll actually get a little more insulation to stuff up in here. Trying to get it every chance that I can. So I'll play with some of that, get this situated, and we'll be back. Okay, here's how it looks now. Not too shabby, I'd say. Came out pretty nice. I'm still going to put some pieces along here tonight. Worked out pretty well. The bed's across here. Be a perfect little drink holder. Not that anybody would do that. If I keep it up, it'll look like I know what I'm doing. Scary. Stick around. Well, I seem to have a knack for messing up my audio. So in this instance, I'm just going to narrate over the video I did last night. Here I'm setting up the box to cover up the fuel tunnel. We've talked about that before. But I've been working to cut out these back pieces to finish off this corner. Now, a lot of interesting detail went into this. It might not be easy to see here, but I wanted to work to line up the seams for the tongue and groove so that I could carry the lines from the side of the van across the back and everything would match up nice. So that started out with cutting that bottom piece to the right height, fitting everything to the edge of the door frame, and then notching a couple of different pieces around the hinge for the door. Did this on both sides, and of course, cut one piece at a time, fit everything, put it in, take it apart, put it together, fit it, take it apart. It's kind of a handful. But it came out okay. What I'm describing here is I was going to put in some foam insulation, the sticky back, like weather stripping, on the wall, and then butt the new pieces of wood up against that. I never did that, but it's still a good idea. Just an extra little sound deadener and keep things from squeaking. Anyway, take it all apart, sand everything down, get it finished, and we'll put it all back together. And so here we are. It's the next day. Evening, I should say, 5:15. Managed to get these boards up just a bit ago. Got these boards up just a bit ago. And then these trim pieces, if you will, are out along here. Next up is going to be that back door. And so what I'll do is I'll have to pick a reference point. It's probably going to be this board right here. I'm going to put one clear across and make sure it matches up and it looks level. And then I can, then I'll place my next ones and down, trim the bottom where it needs to be, do the mustaches where those latches are, and we'll get the back looking all beautiful as well. Well, we've got a ways to go, but we've come a long ways. We got the wood up on those side doors there. And wood's all cut out and fit for the back doors. Of course, it still needs to be finished, but that's okay. Finish meaning put our Minwax on there. Dry it closed nice and solid, which is good. And then from the other side here, lots to work with. A lot of rough stuff to do still. Got to figure out something nice for this. We have our mustache here, it looks like, cut out. And there's what the back is going to look like. Of course, it still needs to be finished, like I mentioned. And we've got our hole cut out for our vent. Next steps include putting in the vent, wiring our outlet, wiring our lights. You can't just barely see, there's a wire right there. A couple other wires hanging down. And boy, we will be styling. So stick around. With any luck, we'll have a final shot of this before this kid rolls out to Moab. I think I've about had it for tonight. Don't know about you, but that's going to wrap up this little evening, this little project, working on Ray the van, my son's adventure mobile. Got a bunch of other videos on it. If this is the first one you've watched, you'll want to watch the other 8 or 9. We've been converting this into an RV, and he leaves later this week, and we still got a lot of work to do. That's why I'm burning the midnight oils out here. Thanks for joining me here at Party Shop Shenanigans. Remember, if you don't try, you'll never know if you can do something. This isn't exactly showroom quality, but having a good time. Step out, and if you think you can't do something, you're right. Go out and make somebody smile today. You both deserve it. Also, hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend or 10, and make sure you come back and visit Ray and Stanley, the service truck, as well. Bob out.